What if some of Nostradamus' predictions were left untouched, buried in his cryptic quatrains, waiting for someone to unlock their meaning? While many of us are familiar with his famous forecasts, like wars, disasters, and revolutions, there are lesser-known, forgotten prophecies that remain shrouded in mystery. These hidden prophecies, overshadowed by his more dramatic predictions, might hold insights into the future predictions we're living through today. Intriguing, isn't it? Here's the thing. Nostradamus didn't just predict large-scale catastrophes. His writings also hinted at subtle shifts in power, societal changes, and events that, while not as publicized, are just as fascinating. But why have these rare Nostradamus predictions been overlooked? Could it be because their meaning is harder to decode? Or because they touch on things we're not yet ready to confront? These are the questions we'll explore together. In this video, we'll uncover the mysteries of Nostradamus that few people discuss. We'll dive into his unknown prophecies, examine what they might mean for the present and the future, and explore why they've been ignored for so long. By the end, you'll not only understand these hidden prophecies, but also gain insight into how Nostradamus' mind worked and why his writings continue to intrigue us centuries later. So let me ask you this. Do you believe in the power of foresight? Or are these just coincidences woven into poetic riddles? Whatever your thoughts, stay with me as we uncover the prophecies no one knows, because sometimes the most valuable insights lie in the stories that aren't told. Nostradamus, a 16th century French astrologer and physician, is best known for his book Les Prophecies, a collection of over 900 quatrains written in cryptic verse. These verses have fascinated readers for centuries, with many believing they predict significant historical events. From wars to revolutions and even natural disasters, his predictions are often linked to major world-changing moments. What sets Nostradamus apart is the enduring relevance of his prophecies. Scholars, enthusiasts, and skeptics alike continue to pore over his writings, searching for connections between his words and current events. While some focus on his more famous predictions, like those about Napoleon or World War II, others look deeper, uncovering hidden prophecies that are less publicized but just as intriguing. These forgotten prophecies often deal with subtle shifts in power, cultural transformations, or even advancements in science. They might not grab headlines, but they reveal an insightful observer who understood the patterns of history. Nostradamus didn't just write about dramatic upheavals. He also hinted at the smaller, quieter moments that shaped the course of humanity. But why are some of his predictions less discussed? Part of the reason lies in the complexity of his writing. Nostradamus used metaphors, allegories, and a mix of languages to obscure his meanings, making his unknown prophecies harder to interpret. This deliberate vagueness allowed his work to remain timeless, open to interpretation in different eras. Despite this, his rare predictions hold valuable lessons for today. They remind us to look beyond the obvious, to question the narratives we're told, and to seek meaning in the overlooked details. Nostradamus wasn't just predicting events, he was challenging us to think critically about the world around us. When it comes to Nostradamus' forgotten prophecies, the most intriguing aspect is their subtlety. These hidden prophecies are not the dramatic ones often linked to global wars or catastrophic disasters. Instead, they seem to focus on nuanced events, moments that might initially go unnoticed but later reveal their importance. Let's explore a few of these rare Nostradamus predictions and what they could mean for us today. One lesser-known quatrain reads, "Through the mirror, the light of knowledge fades. A voice unheard, yet it shakes the ground." This cryptic verse has puzzled interpreters for years, but some believe it speaks to the modern era of misinformation. The mirror could symbolize technology or social media, reflecting but also distorting reality, while the voice unheard might hint at suppressed truths or ignored warnings. In an age where digital noise often drowns out meaningful conversations, this hidden prophecy feels eerily relevant. Another overlooked quatrain speaks of machines rising under the guise of progress. While many focus on Nostradamus' predictions of wars and plagues, this verse seems to allude to the rise of artificial intelligence and automation, topics that weren't even conceivable during his lifetime. Could this unexplored prophecy be a warning about humanity's over-reliance on technology? The idea that progress unchecked might lead to unforeseen consequences is as pressing now as it ever was. A particularly haunting forgotten prophecy describes a great silence before the storm in the east. This has been interpreted as a reference to geopolitical shifts, particularly in regions that have remained relatively calm compared to others. Some scholars suggest it might refer to the potential for conflict or disruption in parts of Asia, where power dynamics are continuously evolving. While it's tempting to look at such prophecies as direct predictions, Nostradamus often layered his meanings, urging readers to think critically about their own contexts. But why are these unknown prophecies not widely discussed? Part of the reason is that they don't fit the dramatic narratives often associated with Nostradamus' work. It's easier to draw attention to apocalyptic visions than to quieter, more introspective predictions. Yet, these rare Nostradamus predictions challenge us to reflect on the less obvious patterns in our world, things like technological ethics, environmental shifts, or the slow erosion of societal trust. One of the most fascinating aspects of these hidden prophecies is how they force us to think about the long game. Nostradamus wasn't just looking at immediate outcomes. He seemed to be observing the ripple effects of decisions made in his time. For example, his writings about fires burning where waters once flowed might not only refer to natural disasters, but also to the long-term impacts of climate change, something only becoming clear centuries after he wrote it. In uncovering these forgotten prophecies, we're reminded of Nostradamus' unique ability to blend the macro and the micro. His work isn't just about predicting massive upheavals. It's about noticing the small cracks that eventually lead to seismic shifts. Whether these prophecies no one knows are directly applicable to modern events or serve as metaphors for broader truths, they challenge us to look deeper, question more, and think critically about the direction we're heading. The question that often arises when discussing Nostradamus' forgotten prophecies is simple: why don't we hear about them as often as his more famous predictions? The answer lies in a combination of factors, ranging from their cryptic nature to the way modern society processes and prioritizes information. One major reason these hidden prophecies are overlooked is their subtlety. Unlike Nostradamus' widely publicized predictions, such as those about wars or natural disasters, these unexplored prophecies often lack the dramatic flair that grabs immediate attention. Instead, they deal with quieter, underlying changes, such as shifts in societal values or technological advancements. While these events may seem less impactful at first glance, their long-term consequences can be just as significant. Another reason is the complexity of Nostradamus' writing style. His use of metaphors, allegories, and multiple languages creates layers of meaning that require careful interpretation. Many of his rare predictions don't have the clarity needed to make direct connections to modern events. This leaves them open to interpretation, often making them less appealing for mainstream discussions, which tend to favor clear and sensational narratives. Additionally, the cultural focus on apocalyptic themes has played a role. Predictions about the end of the world or massive upheavals naturally dominate the conversation, overshadowing the more nuanced insights Nostradamus provided. His warnings about subtle shifts in power or environmental changes might not generate the same immediate reaction as a prophecy about a catastrophic event, but they carry a weight that becomes evident over time. Media sensationalism also contributes to the neglect of these unknown prophecies. Nostradamus' work has often been reduced to a handful of dramatic quatrains that are easy to market and sensationalize. This approach leaves little room for the deeper, quieter aspects of his predictions, which require more thoughtful analysis. As a result, the prophecies no one knows remain in the background, waiting for those willing to dig deeper. Finally, the modern world's emphasis on immediacy plays a part. In a society driven by breaking news and instant gratification, long-term predictions about gradual changes can feel less relevant. Nostradamus' forgotten prophecies, which often focus on trends and patterns rather than singular events, challenge us to think beyond the immediate and consider the broader implications of our actions. Understanding why these hidden prophecies are overlooked gives us an opportunity to shift our perspective. Instead of dismissing them as too vague or insignificant, we can explore how their subtle insights might apply to the world around us. Nostradamus' work wasn't just about foretelling events. It was about encouraging us to look deeper, question more, and pay attention to the forces shaping our future. Nostradamus' forgotten prophecies carry a timeless message. The most significant changes often begin quietly, in the shadows of the obvious. For us today, this means looking beyond the surface of current events and asking deeper questions. Are we focusing too much on immediate crises while ignoring the slow, steady shifts that could reshape our world? Nostradamus challenges us to observe the patterns and undercurrents that others overlook. Take his warnings about subtle power shift, for example. In an era where technology and global politics dominate our lives, these hidden prophecies remind us to examine the impact of smaller decisions. How does our increasing reliance on artificial intelligence influence not just our jobs, but our ethics and humanity? Nostradamus' writings about machines rising under the guise of progress seem eerily applicable, urging us to consider the balance between innovation and control. His predictions about environmental changes, though less dramatic than his apocalyptic visions, also hold relevance. The idea of fires where waters once flowed can be seen as a metaphor for the consequences of neglecting our planet. From climate change to resource depletion, these rare Nostradamus predictions remind us that gradual damage often goes unnoticed until it becomes irreversible. This is a call to act now, not when the signs are impossible to ignore. Ultimately, these unexplored prophecies teach us the value of reflection. Nostradamus wasn't just warning about the future, he was inviting us to be more mindful in the present. By examining the overlooked details in his work and in our own lives, we can make better choices, protect what matters most, and prepare for the future with greater clarity. His message is clear: the answers aren't always where we expect them, but they're always there for those willing to seek them. As we close this journey into Nostradamus' forgotten prophecies, one thing becomes clear: these hidden prophecies are more than cryptic quatrains. They are a lens through which we can examine our world. Nostradamus' unique ability to blend metaphor, insight, and timeless truths encourages us to think beyond the obvious. His unexplored prophecies challenge us to look at the subtler, quieter changes that shape our future, often hidden beneath the noise of daily life. These rare predictions aren't just about the grandiose or the catastrophic. They're about the gradual shifts and the unnoticed patterns that ripple through time. From warnings about unchecked progress to subtle power dynamics, Nostradamus reminds us that the greatest transformations often come from what we choose to overlook. His words are a call to action, not just to anticipate the future, but to actively shape it. But how can we apply his teachings today? It starts with awareness. Take a step back from the rush of breaking news and consider the bigger picture. Are there trends or patterns that seem small now, but could have a lasting impact? Nostradamus' prophecies no one knows urge us to seek meaning in the overlooked, whether it's in the choices we make, the technologies we adopt, or the way we treat our planet. Reflection isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. As we consider his forgotten prophecies, it's important to remember that Nostradamus didn't write them to instill fear. He wrote them to encourage thought, discussion, and preparation. Whether you believe in his predictions as literal truths or interpret them as metaphors for human behavior, their value lies in the questions they inspire. What kind of future are we building? Are we paying attention to the signs around us? And most importantly, are we taking responsibility for the path we're on? Before you go, I invite you to reflect on this. What could these hidden prophecies mean for you personally? Are there signs or shifts in your own life that you've been ignoring? Nostradamus' writings remind us that the answers are often closer than we think. We just need to be willing to look for them. If this video sparked your curiosity, share it with someone who might also find these insights intriguing. Let's start a conversation in the comments. What do you think about Nostradamus' lesser-known predictions? Could they hold the key to understanding the future? Don't forget to subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next video, where we'll explore another fascinating topic: the mysterious connections between ancient civilizations and modern-day spiritual beliefs.